Hey everybody, welcome back to the Maniac. Today I am trying something a little bit new. I will confess, when I started doing dip manicures at home, I would find that my allergies would get worse right after or within the next 24 hours after I did my dip manicure. And on a couple of the groups that I'm in on Facebook and other places, I've heard other people say this. They get a lot of congestion, they call it the nail flu, from inhaling a specifically a base product. And it happens with pretty much all the dipping lines, the liquids, just because the resin does have a very strong smell. It does exacerbate my allergies. So I saw one of the girls on there had posted that she had tried using gel liquids with the dip powder. So you use it basically the same way. You put the gel on and then pour the dip powder. Because a gel base is very sticky, the powder sticks to it, then you cure it. You can do as many layers as you need to, and so that's what I did today. I really wanted to use Dip 105 Deep Galaxy. I paired that with Dip 126, A Glammed Life, and the Hollow Chrome that I love, that I just got in, all from Sparkle & Co. They had a great spring sale, so I loaded up. So today I'm gonna show you how to use gel liquids with your dip powder. Let's check it out. So what I've done is I've used the Sparkle & Co. Cuticle Softener to prep my nails, and then I just pushed back my cuticle, made sure I got all the cuticle off of my nails here, and just pushing back real good so that nothing is stuck on there. And what I did next is I used my pH Prep, also Sparkle & Co. As I mentioned, today we're doing the gel liquids instead of dip liquids, and I'm actually kind of loving it. Still looks good, still feels strong, so we'll see how that holds up. I'm going to start out today testing out this peel base from Sparkle & Co. I know I talked about it before, and I actually had a different product which I thought was this peel base but wasn't. So what I've been told to do with this is to paint it onto your nails, except around the edges, leaving a little space around the edges. So that's what we're gonna do. And this just helps with removal, so that when we go to take it off, we don't necessarily have to soak it in acetone. They're supposed to just kind of pop off real easily, or if you do have to use acetone, you're just gonna use a lot less. So hopefully that will be the case. I would love to not have to stick my fingers in acetone every week. All right, so that is, again, the peel base. And we'll follow up when we do our next manicure and see how these go. So you're gonna wanna let that dry. So we're gonna do that right now. Okay, so you can see this is completely dry. It's not too sticky or anything. It is a latex base. So we're gonna be using a couple different products today as far as the gel to do the dip. We're gonna be using a gel base by Sparkle & Co. The base is going to adhere, and then it's kind of tacky on top, so when you put things to it, it'll stick real well. And then we're going to use the gel top, which is a no wipe gel top coat, which means it does not have the sticky layer. A lot of gel top coats do have a sticky layer that you have to kind of clean off with alcohol or some kind of solution that takes off that tacky layer. This Sparkle & Co. gel top does not, and so it's super easy because just once you're done carrying it, it's good to go and it's dry to the touch, which is one of the things I've always loved about the dips. So the way we're going to do this is similar to using the base bond. We're going to go ahead and just put a thin, even layer over our entire nail. Going to make sure you get to all the sides, and you don't want this to goop up in the corners. It's really, really important that you get it nice and thin and even. And one of the things I'm loving about using these gels is that you have tons of time because the gel doesn't dry like the base bond can. I know there's been a couple times we've been doing with the base bond, and there'll be little patches that don't have any because that dried was the side I painted on first, and it dried, and so nothing stuck to it. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking my orange wood stick, much like I did before with the dips, but I'm doing this before dipping so that I can clean off any of the gel base that's kind of gotten into that crevice. And we're gonna go ahead and dip this into Dip 126, A Glammed Life, which is just a really beautiful blue with this iridescent pinky blue kind of shimmer. I don't know if you can even really get how gorgeous that is in the light. So you can see once we've dipped it there, it's pretty much full coverage. So we're not really going to need to do anything else. It's not lopsided. Then another nice thing about the gels is they're kind of self-leveling. So we're going to go ahead and do all these nails and then we'll cure them all together, because if you cure each one individually, it just will take forever, because each one cures, each time you cure is for a minute. And so we want to use our time wisely. And as long as you don't bump that, it should be fine. You don't really have to worry about that getting messed up. So again, nice even layers. We're going all the way to the edges. Make sure we get a nice even coat. And then we're going to take that orange wood stick, cuticle stick, whatever you've got, and just go to the edges here. If you see some on these corners, and I often do this part at the cuticle after I've dipped because I can see it a little bit better, but this just always tends to bunch up here just because of gravity and how your nail slopes down. So now that we've got that, we're going to dip it into Dip 105 Deep Galaxy. And I'm just setting it right on top of the powder. And then I'll give it a little tap, and that'll take off most of the excess. Now, you don't want to brush this until after you've cured it. So you can see I've still got that dip powder kind of all over. And you don't want to try to brush it off until you've cured it, because that can just smudge it and make it look wonky. So now you can see at this point is when I'm going to go ahead and do this cuticle area. And I don't want to take off too much. We just want to kind of make sure we have nice clean lines. Okay. Perfect. And see, it's full coverage. I mean, we don't really even need to re-dip that a second time. All right, so for our middle finger, I used a custom mix that a friend of mine sent me. She called it Sweater Weather, just the name that she happened to give it. And I thought it just made a really nice dark background without being too dark like a black. And none of the other grays I had really were working for me as far as how dark I wanted it to look. Now we're gonna put Holo Chrome on this side because I just wanna see which I like better. Because as much as I love the Holo Flakes, and I was so excited to use them, I'm not sure I love how, I don't know, how it looks with this Deep Galaxy. I feel like it maybe takes something away from the Deep Galaxy, which it's so beautiful and sparkly. So I just don't know. So we'll see. And then because you just are top coating, it's really easy to fix that. So we're going to go ahead and dip this one into Sweater Weather, which is that, again, that custom mix that my friend made. Tap that off. Okay, so you can see we've got nice full coverage all the way around. Just go once more through here. Doesn't look like we've really got anything to do on the cuticle side. So now that those three are done, we're going to go ahead and cure them. I just have a general lamp. I do about a minute. You can adjust that. Sometimes the darker colors can take longer to cure, especially if you're putting multiple layers on them. So since we got pretty good coverage, we're really not going to have to worry about that. So I think 1 minute is going to be enough. Okay, so now that that is fully cured, we are going to go ahead and just take our brush and just brush off any excess that is not adhered. And give it a good brush there, so that's nice and cleaned up. All right, so what we're gonna do next is go ahead and put a top coat on top, and this is gonna make it nice and shiny. Now you'll notice that I'm not using my clear to dip over top of this, because I've found that you actually don't really need to e-file so much with the gel. Like I said, it's kind of self-leveling. I haven't found a whole lot of unevenness, And also because we're able to get a pretty good coverage in just one coat, you don't have that like buildup to make it feel like it needs to be buffed down because it's too thick. I just did that on the wrong nail. Oh well. Did that on my already finished nail instead of this one. Welcome to real life, people. The things we do, huh? But that's fine. I will just cure over another top coat, so it'll be extra strong. All right. So once you've got that top coat on there, cap those edges. And we'll go ahead and cure this again for 1 minute. Okay, so that's fully cured now. So I will tell you the one thing I did notice, that since we're not putting a clear dip over top of our glitter, like normally I would so I could buff it out, it is a little bit rougher than these smoother dips are, but it's a really easy fix. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and put another base coat on top, okay? So we're just gonna do one base coat and then another top coat, and that's gonna just give us a nice thin, because this base coat is like a little heavier and it kind of smooths things out a little bit more than the top coat does. So we're gonna go ahead and just put a nice base coat on there and then cure that. Okay, all right, so we're gonna go ahead and put another top coat on top of this, because again, remember that base coat, gel base, is sticky, and that's kind of what holds the dip or the other top coat to it. Otherwise, the top coat kind of peels off after a couple days. So we got that top coat on there, and again, we're gonna cure it 60 seconds. Okay. So completely dry to the touch. What we're gonna do now is go ahead and use our holo chrome, okay? And we've done chromes a couple times in the past. We had that rose gold chrome. This holo chrome is super cool looking. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go over top of this gray nail that I have with just a top coat. So there's plenty of base coat under there, so that'll keep it stuck down to itself. And I'm just gonna do a quick top coat, and I'm only gonna cure this for about 15 seconds because I want it to stay a little bit tacky. And again, this is top coat, so normally it does dry and it's a no wipe top coat, so it's not tacky at all. So we're just gonna do a quick about 10 to 15 seconds, and this may change depending on your lamp and if you're using a different type of gel. So you want to kind of just play with it time-wise. And then all we're going to do is rub this chrome powder on top, okay? So we'll just use my silicone tool, which I totally love. Before I was using like those eye makeup applicators, and they just didn't have like the same sort of look. And I use this silicone tool for a lot of stuff, so I always have it with me. So you want to make sure you get all the way around and just keep rubbing that in, and the more you rub it in, the smoother it's gonna look. And how cool is that? Holographic. I think I like that better than the flakies, huh? With this manicure. The flakes are fantastic and they look super cool. But gosh, like, isn't that so cool looking? I love it. So I'm actually going to change this one to that holo chrome as well. All right, so now that we buffed in that chrome, we're going to give it just a quick brush off the excess. And then we're going to go ahead and top coat over top of that. And I think I might experiment and see if I do a base and then a top and see if that helps it last longer. The thing about the chromes is that they do, sometimes the top coat will kind of start chipping after a few days if you don't have a base coat. So we're going to give this a full 1 minute cure because we're done with it. You could go back and do a second coat of the holochrome. I don't find it's really necessary because it is quite opaque. It's not really see-through, so you can't really see the color that's underneath it. So we'll only really do that one coat. All right, so there it is. Got a deep galaxy, a glammed life, and holographic chrome over a gray. Again, that holographic chrome is pretty opaque, so really does not matter what color you put underneath it. It is beautiful. Thanks so much for joining us today on the Maniac. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you give us a thumbs up so we know that you like the content. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any future content, and share this video with your friends so that they can check out all these cool manicures. As a reminder, if you have not yet purchased anything from Sparkle & Co. and you would like to, they have an awesome referral program. If you put my name, Kathy DeSoto, in the notes section of either your first order or an order for a subscription bag, you can get rewards for that. It comes in the form of a store credit to use on Sparkle & Co. The details are down in the description, so check that out there. As always, if you have any comments, if you like it, if you don't like it, if there's something you want to see, please hit those comments down below. I'd love to hear any of your ideas or suggestions for upcoming videos. For today's question of the day, I want you to tell me, how do you apply your dip powder? Do you use a gel system? Do you use the dipping liquids? And which ones are your favorite? I'm always looking for great ideas. Thanks so much for joining us today, and we'll see you next time on the Maniac.